Good morning. Alrighty. Good, thank you for that. Well, I'll tell you what, aren't I feeling like a little bit of a hard done by little sod? Why? Well, this is why, because this prick put me in. But all is well. Let's have a look at that watch list that we had here. Bitcoin Gold, have I survived? I have. Good. I'm liking the way this market is looking. We're going to hit the margin pairs. We're going to start with Bitcoin. And yeah, I'm going to tell you right now that I'm pretty happy with how this is looking at the moment. I really am. And I'm also pretty happy with what the weather's doing outside. I really am. And I'm also going to be going and trading from somewhere around Bondi, Double Bay or Rose Bay today because I can and because it's just too nice a day not to be out there enjoying the sunshine, still working, but enjoying the sunshine. So that is my plan. And if you're in the area, let me know. All right, so Bitcoin right now, we've not broken these lows, so therefore it's just been holding. I want to look at the 4 hour and go into a bit of detail here. I remember yesterday, I think it was yesterday. The way that we can keep this trend intact is to be breaking to new highs, and that was at this candle here. Now it's done that. So now we've got the 4 hour in an uptrend, and it's not an uptrend that I'm going to be looking to trade, but what it's done is that needed to occur for us to clear away from, to clear away from these lows and to set this as a higher low on that 4 hour chart. We had to break to a higher high, and it's done exactly that. So therefore, yes, I like it. I certainly do like it. And we're already positioning ourselves for a good move from here. I mean, look, we've caught up to the cradle zone. Let's do the 2 day and check this out. We're sitting on that right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see us get a nice little move. That being said, I also wouldn't be surprised if we just went completely sideways for a wee bit longer. Ethereum right now, so there's no trades for me on Bitcoin right now. It's just such a bugger that it's a bugger that I took it on BitMEX. I keep looking at this chart and going, you little prick, because I wouldn't have been in. But hey, that's just the way it goes. I'm gonna have to get over it. I'm taking that out of the list, and we're gonna keep moving on. There's nothing on Ethereum right now. Ooh. What's the low there? The low there is 5.95. The low there is 96. Okay, so that's the low. I'm basically looking to see if I can get a trade there. I don't do this very often. It's just curious. No. Okay, I'm going to go lower here. So I'm looking at this candle here, right? So this is, let me walk you through my thought process. Little bullish candle right there in the cradle zone. Stop to be there. So that's fine. That would be, if my entry was to be, say, there, I'm cool with that being, tight enough, small enough candle. No dramas with that at all. The issue I've got is it looks like there might be a little bit of stickiness up around those highs there, and I think there might be. Yeah, there is. Yeah, okay, that's enough for me. I've just found a reason not to take the trade, and it just comes back to reminding you that there's a reason why, I'm often looking for reasons to not take a trade, and that is one right there. So I'll get rid of that line. There's a bit of stickiness up there. I'm happy to leave that alone. Litecoin is back in that zone. Let's have a look at this one again. Again, stop would be there. Let's have a look at that 2 day. Oh, it's in the right spot, and I'm just, wouldn't be surprised to see it kick on. But the thing is will it consolidate or will it kick on? And can I find a reason to take it that I'm actually quite comfortable with? I'm not going away for Easter, so I don't have any sort of feeling of commitment towards the chart. So if I take trades leading up to Easter, it doesn't really matter for me to watch them over Easter. I'm not too bothered by that. Stop would be there, entry would be there. Do I love it? I don't love it. There's definitely resistance up there at 109. you know what? It's not clear, so therefore it's not there. You know, the old saying, if it's not clear, it's not there. It stands for me just as much as it stands for you, right? So for me, that's got to be a no. Don't forget though. You know, when I look at Ethereum Classic, Litecoin, and Bitcoin for that matter, all I need to see is that 4 hour start to trend, and I'm happy to go to those lower time frames with these large market cap moves and trade there. Bitcoin Cash is still sticky up around those highs. I'm waiting to get through that for any real concerted efforts from my behalf. Zcash today maybe? No, nothing there on Zcash. It's basically just seeing if any of these old levels, old pullbacks are still valid. Really, that's really what the attack plan is for the time being. Oh, maybe we'll get a bit of love here on a 2-day. No. There's nothing that would make me take that either. But again, you know, that's the potential higher low on the 4 hour. We get that into a nice trend, and yeah, I'd be happy to go for it. Just not just yet. No, there's nothing on Ripple. EOS, there's nothing there for me. SAN, no. OMG, 2-day. Again, I'm happy to leave that. NEO, 2-day, it'll be saying happy to leave, and yeah, there you go. So they've all pulled back into the right area, right? They've all come back into a good spot. I mean, NEO's a little bit further back in, but they're not terrible. They really are not terrible there. So it's just nothing. There's just nothing that's clearly setting up for me just yet. And if it's not clearly setting up, I mean, look, the one thing I have got is Bitcoin Gold, so that can stay there. It's got to be clear for me, as you guys know. If it's not clear, it's not there. Oh, hang on, let's just jump. That's a bit messy on the chart, the daily. Yeah, I'm happy to leave that in the 4 hour as well. I'm just focusing on the daily for now, guys, because I want to just see how these trends are playing out, because I only want to trade the good trends. Into these Bitcoin charts, and Ripple continues to grind. Continues to grind, but it's literally a grind. There's not much going on there, nothing in the way of good trade, so I'm happy to leave that. It can keep grinding lower if it wants to, and it can do it without me. Same with IOTA. I don't really care. I'm waiting for the good ones, the best ones. EDO, Bitcoin Gold are sitting flat. IOTA, ETH. I don't think it's already happened. A bit too thin. EOS, ETH holding up there. Want to see it push through those highs. SAN, ETH is too thin. OMG, no. NEO, no. ETP, no. EDO, and ZRX. 2-day. 2-day. Nothing there for me either. So there's really very little there in the way of top margin trading options. But do not fear. If we do see that market, look, all it takes, I mean, Bitcoin's up 4% today. That's the first time in a long time that it's been up there with the top performers in the top 10, which is really something in my view. If we see Bitcoin push on today and have a good strong move, i.e., you know, we start to take out, let's have a look at this. If we start to see Bitcoin take out some of these levels through here, you know, having a good 5, 6, 7% day, a decent day, you know, like that was down 4%. This is up 4%. This was up 20%, or so 17. You know, if we get a good, another 4 or 5% day, you know, that's going to mean another move similar to what we saw throughout here to here. Now, if we extend that, say $200 and take us up to, you know, up around this 5,500, up around those old highs. Now that may provide opportunities in the lower time frames. We'll have to wait and see, but certainly it will bode well leading into Thursday. But right now we just don't have that. We've looked at these ones. Binance is the one we want to look at. No, I'm not interested in Binance just yet. Stella's grinding lower, looking for uptrends more than anything else here. Let's have a look at this on the 2-day on Cardano. Nope, patience still having to happen. Still needing to be patient. Now, I know there's some theories out there about buying this just because someone might have some tricks up his sleeves. I really don't subscribe to that at all. I think it's fraught with danger. I think it's very, very, very silly, whether it be against the dollar, whether it be against Bitcoin. It's all over the shop. It's getting delisted everywhere. You know, I'm not going to look to short this either for the same reason. Like when Bitcoin Cash around the BSV listing was going a bit crazy, remember? I said, I don't care. I'm leaving it alone. There's too much going on here. There's far too much for me to have an educated or to have a high probability of success here. If it's going to come down to luck, I don't want to be involved. You know, I'm not measuring my trading results based on luck. I'm measuring it based on consistency. And this is just, it's not a chart that I want to be involved in right now. Ontology. Too far back. I'm taking that out. NAM's grinding lower as well. Ooh. Okay, nothing there. No, waves, nothing there. Doge, it looks like it might be another day for the patient possum. Okay, we've got a fictional character now. The patient possum. I have to find a possum mascot. Oh, on the weekly. I'm not an investor in this project. I've heard lots of good stuff about it. Realistically, I don't have a huge amount of time to go and read all about projects. It's not really my thing. Could be a weekly entry there for those that wanted an investment with a stop loss. That's all I'll say. But it's not one for me. Okay, nothing there on icon. Am I a bad person? No, there's more to it. So this French crypto enthusiast appeal for Bitcoin donation to rebuild Notre Dame Cathedral. Is that how it works? If something like let's say you know, the big fires that we had in Victoria, I suppose we did, didn't we? When there was that whatever day it was, Black Friday, I think that the rest of the world did chip in. I think that's how it works, isn't it? There is whenever there's something big like California, I know the California fires recently where all the rich people lost their homes. Well, not just the rich people, but a lot of them. And a lot of people lost their homes and a lot of bad stuff happened. There was that appeal globally for donations. We're not having for that. I know it's happening for Notre Dame. I'm not sure because I was in London during the Victoria bushfires. I'm sure as anything that there would have been something going on there. But I mean, I think the Notre Dame things, it seems a bit different to me. It seems different to me. And you know why? Because, I mean, they were renovating it anyway. I mean, it's very tragic. It's horrible, of course, but they're going to rebuild it. The French government's got a pretty big GDP. Like, it's not a small country. Yeah, I mean, that's just my thoughts. I'll probably leave it at that before someone calls me an arsehole. But well, that's right. Insurance. I mean, the government. I mean, why do they need donations? It's one singular building, and it's just the roof. Like the timber bit burnt down. It's look again. I'm not taking anything away from how bad it is because you know it's a bloody awesome building. But surely they don't need my Bitcoin. Do you know what I mean? Like surely the French can take care of that. Anyway, that's my little 2 cents worth on what has been a very, very interesting, well, sorry, I shouldn't say interesting, a very, very devastating recent occurrence. Okay, Theta. Ooh, we're too far back on the weekly here because that is starting to look quite tasty. We are there. Okay, let's walk the walk on this puppy. I didn't even mean to do a little terrible French accent, then it just came out. I'm naturally wrong. Right. You're looking at what I'm looking at? Let's keep going. That's a bloody good point, Mr. Harvey. Doesn't it belong to the Catholic Church, one of the richest organizations in the world? Yes, I believe it does. They may actually be running out of money. They might have to sell some of their land because of all the lawsuits they have. I'll leave that one at that. But yes, Matt, I think you are right there. They don't pay. Yeah, okay. See this little lad down here? I think we're just going to go, yeah, go away. They don't pay tax. It's owned by the Catholic Church. Yeah, good call, everybody. I don't feel like such a prick now. You're either with me or you're worse than me. Okay, 1, 2, 3 tests of resistance there. Of course, we don't have something there to trade yet. Not in my view, not what I'm looking at right now anyway. Let me tell you a couple of things that we do have about this and why this gets a little red dot. For a start, let me work all the way back. For a start, on the weekly, we've had a big run up. We pulled back into the cradles and we've got a bullish candle there now. It's right in the right spot. We haven't got a break of the bullish candle. We've got a long time to go for it, but it's, more importantly, it's in the right area. Come to the daily. What you'll note is we bottomed out. When I say bottomed out, I'm not saying that that is now a bottom. I'm saying that it's, you know, it has sort of found support down around those levels. All right. Now, if we go lower again at the 16 hour, you'll note there's a higher low here running up into this resistance, and these three tests become very, very clear. As a matter of fact, even on these lows, very, very divergent coming into this high low, now converging. Go to the 12, it just makes it a little bit clearer. Go to the 8, again, you can see what's happened here. We pushed on. I'd love to see this pull back, give a higher low, and then there's my entry. So there's plenty of reasons there why I'm keeping an eye on that. Now, the second side of this is this. If it doesn't give me exactly what I want for a breakout or a reverse break type trade, what am I going to do? Well, if it breaks through, I'm going to trade anything that pulls back to there. That's a boost, that's a cradle in any breakouts. Because at that point, what I can see there is that we've got plenty of room for upside, and I would like to get a position on because it looks good. So I'll break through that area. Yeah, I would be happy to you know, if it sets up to trade the break, if it doesn't, to trade the pullbacks, and that's why Theta is going into the list. Looking good there. ENG is not looking so good. Komodo, no. AEB, PAX, no. Nothing there. See you coming running lower. Hobby. Not there yet. Nothing on Stratus. IOST. I love where it's at because I know it's in the right areas. Really like this chart. It's going to close today, I think. 17th is today, yep. So another 2 days to wait, but I really like where that's sitting. There's nothing for me just yet, but I do like where that's sitting. It looks like it could be getting ready. Well, if it was to have another move, that would be the place for it to happen from. For us to be trading it anyway. The rest of these are looking pretty average thus far. Ooh, yuck. Factum is, I'm just going to draw this level in here. I know it's not perfect, but the reason I'm drawing that in is because, you know what, if we do break through that, we've got plenty of upside. We might actually see something moving quite nicely. So I'll just keep an eye on that. It's a homework level as opposed to one that I'm looking to trade from now. I don't want to wait. No. These are all just downtrending, and of course, for anyone who's recently joined the group, I know there have been quite a few. You know, we can't trade these short. These are paired with Bitcoin, and these are mostly on the Binance charts, and they don't have any leverage, because if they did have the option for leverage, then we'd be looking at something like this and going, ooh, we might have some support breaking levels going on here, ooh, with a daily chart. But you see, we don't. Same with that power ledger. What a wonderful looking little great cradle short, but we can't short it. Nothing on Aeon or let's have a look here. It's below that resistance apparently. What is that resistance? Yeah, it's a bit there. We'll try and trade it from there. So yeah, I'm happy to leave that again. Ode is too thin. Bancor, nothing there. Zen, no NAS. Very, I think that's going to be a little bit too big on Null's Muliaina. No. So again, yeah. The Bitcoin pairings seem to be looking quite weak, which means not many options for us there. Really weak, actually. Theta is really the only one that looks like there might be something of interest coming up. Oh, what have we got there? Okay, we don't have enough data for that to be in the cradle, so because we have 10 candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got a couple more weeks to wait for that. I think it would be in the cradle zone on the on the weekly. bit thin, not a good enough level, but worth having a quick look at. I think they're gas. No. Geez. Again, we're faced with the same issue that we had yesterday, which is, these are being hit by Bitcoin. Bitcoin's stronger. And yeah, we're just not getting any options across Bitcoin in that right now. Hopefully today's the day we see it push on. We were looking at this yesterday, IOTEX. It pulled back, which we're watching as well, but we didn't get a trade there. Now, yesterday I had said that if it pushed to a new higher high, I'd be interested. Yep, I'll have a look at that in just a second, Kevin. I'm not so interested in it right now because of that divergence. Probably happy to leave that. Oh, okay, straight through. Okay, Binance Bitcoin. Where was that here? 1 hour. Okay, I'll just first of all let me have a look at what that level is. There, okay, there's old resistance there. Acted as a support resistance. It's not the strongest level, but it would be a level I would look at as a potential bit of a ceiling. There's 2 tests there. I don't disagree. Yeah, I mean, we've still got a long way to go there, mate. So effectively, 2 things. I mean, 2 hour or 1 hour, we look at that level that I've left in there, which was that point through here. Actually ended up being where my stop was, where I got stopped out, I believe. I look at that and I think, is that likely to act as resistance? Because, I mean, let's have a look. Obviously, it was resistance there and there, right? 1, 2, 3 sort of thing. Found support, kind of reacted to it there, not exactly on the nose, but it reacted to, broke there, found it again there. Look, I'll get rid of that and just. I mean, look, we'll keep an eye on that. Actually, let me just go to the daily again, because I skipped past that pretty quickly because of this daily chart, didn't I? I have to look on the 3-day. Again, I don't really trade the 3-day. I want to see the, okay, how about the 4-day? All right, well, it's had that pullback across most of those time frames. It's pulled back in a little bit deeper on the daily. Look, I'm not the most overly optimistic fan about it. It would certainly be, if it was to set up, it certainly would be a trade with a bit higher risk. And I mean, here's the reason why. If you consider, I can't remember where that first breakout was that I took. I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. But if you consider, or maybe it was that one. Yeah. If you consider what we had back, I gotta get back now. Back here, which was, I think this was actually on the 1 hour as well. At that point in time for that breakout, and this is what I just want to sort of communicate why this one's more high risk than the last one. We had, obviously the resistance was there. I know it's divergent on the 2 hour, but I think the 30-minute or the 1 hour, it was fine. I'm not going back down there because I'll have to find this again. But the point is that this was in a nice uptrend. If you have a look at that on the daily, so that was back here, right? On the daily, we had an uptrend. So we're already trending higher. So this breakout was here. And that was that move, straight up. Right now, the daily is not in the, like on the daily I'm talking about, is not in the best uptrend. That's the only thing really. It's not overly bad. Just be aware of the additional risk being carried there. But Kevin, I am going to add that to the list. I don't think it's a bad one to have a look at, and thanks for pointing that out. Okay, so Bitcoin Gold stays in the list because, well, a minute. Theta is one to keep an eye on as it tries to break out right now. This could be a goer on for many reasons. As I said, look at this. Look, here's something else interesting. That old support is the level. So keeping an eye on that today, and Binance keeping an eye on that. Now, outside of that, I'm also going to be keeping a very close eye on these top 10. we start to get some good trends in play here, guys. We start to get a good move going on here. Which is the best of the trenders? Well, none of them. Maybe Bitcoin Cash, maybe even Binance, pushes to new highs. Maybe there's even something there on Cardano if it gets into that level a bit better, but not on the daily. So I will be keeping an eye on this top 10, seeing how those moves play out throughout the day. If there's something radical that starts to happen, or it doesn't even need to be radical, if we start to see some solid buying coming in, then I'll be moving back across to those. But again, today's a very patient day required. You can see Theta's really getting its skates on now, keeping an eye on that. Another 11% day at the moment. We'll see how that goes. Probably the most promising chart out there at the moment as far as the potential for upside. So I'm keeping an eye on all of those. Again, another patient day, and I shall keep you in the loop if we see anything, and vice versa. I hope you have a fantastic day and get out into that sunshine if you've got it. Cheers, guys. Have a good day. Bye for now.